All right, everybody, it's Chris with Drop Dice. So we are back this week. This week we're actually going to demo a game that is currently in Kickstarter, and its hours are getting a little short. So, in an effort to try and maybe boost up some more of those stretch goals for me, because I went and backed it, I'm throwing together this game to try and get a little bit more attention to it right here at the end. But it's done phenomenal so far. It's called Masks. There is a link inside the description. Basically, it's a superhero-powered game, or superhero game powered by the apocalypse, I should say. Which, if you're not familiar with it, it's the game system that Apocalypse World and Dungeon World are made from. We'll go into what the system's like in a little bit, but first I want to introduce the players that are with me tonight. Let's go ahead and start with Eric.
All right, hey everybody. My name's Eric Badrag, and I'm the project designer for Haphazard Projects. I don't get to play very often, so getting the chance to kind of jump in here and do this sort of playtest with the Supers game is right up my alley. Anything Supers I'm keen for, so I'm really looking forward to this.
All right, perfect. And Josh, you want to go next?
Hey guys, I'm Josh. I am the runner of the Smoking RPG Gamer over on YouTube. I am looking forward to this game. As you can see on my screen, I'll be playing Edward Jones. He is a gravity manipulation guy, which we'll get into later, and it's good to be back in a Chris Wilhelm game.
All right, next we got Michael Walsh.
Good evening, my name is Michael Walsh. I'm going to be playing Fang Transformed. I'm not affiliated with any channels or anything, but I am very excited to try out this system, and much the same as Eric, I extremely enjoy Supers games, so I'm definitely excited about this.
All right, and next up we've got the Wayward Son.
My name is Ken Sheffield. I go by Wayward Son on YouTube and Google Hangouts, obviously. I'm playing Bastion, the Legacy. You'll see a lot of Boy Scout going on, so we'll see how that works. And that's it.
All right, perfect. So let's do a quick little introduction of what Powered by the Apocalypse means. Basically, how this game is going to work is you've got your stat array just like you would with any other game, and when anything comes into question, it needs to be rolled just like you would in any other game. What you're going to instead do is grab 2d6, and for my players, I didn't mention it before we went live, you do not have to use Dice Stream if you don't want to. I've found problems with it, so I don't require anybody to ever use it. But I am going to put up a Dice Stream on my end so that you guys can see a counter, which we'll get to in a second here. But essentially how it works is it's 2d6 plus the modifier. Anything that's 10 or higher is a success, and it's usually a big success kind of success. Anything 7 to 9 is a success, but it may come with some consequences. Whether those are immediate and dire is kind of driven by the story, but usually they're more soft moves is what they're called as far as the MC is concerned. Basically, it means that you're pushing the story along and complicating things, but not making it overly complicated. A 6 and below is making things real complicated. That can be anything from catastrophic failure, like a bomb going off in the city, or something as simple as I allude to there's going to be more problems for you in the future. I have a lot of flexibility inside the moves that I can do, just like the flexibility that you guys have as players. You guys have a copy of the basic rules, hopefully in front of you, along with your character sheets, and that'll give you an idea of everything that you can do. But I want to talk about some of those moves real quick first. So the moves themselves, let's pull them up real quick here. Actually, let's start with the labels. Basically what the labels are, they do shift during the gameplay, but what they do mean is Freak is about being strange, different, and unusual. It's about being abnormal, weird, and basically it's the derivative stat for your powers. When you use Unleash powers, you're going to be using Freak. Danger is about being scary, frightening, threatening. It's mainly your fighting stat. It's used for directly engage the threat. There's also Savior, which is about being a martyr, a Boy Scout, or a Goody Two-Shoes, which is used to defend. Superior is used to assess the situation and provoke someone. Basically, it's about being smarter or better than someone. And then Mundane is how human you are, empathetic, sympathetic, and kind and understanding. Mundane is used to build someone up and also to pierce the mask. Now, the way that those work is a lot of them sound very obvious of what they do, but I wanted to address Pierce the Mask. Pierce the Mask is basically attempting to see the person behind the mask, or if you use it on a normal mundane person, it's trying to do like an empathy check, as how it would be phrased in other games. And a little bit of background, you guys are in Halcyon City, which is similar to Marvel and DC's, like their versions of New York and Metropolis. They're these huge super city that actually has a bunch of supers running around, and one of those teams is actually the what did I call them? The Victory. Oh shoot, I'm missing my notes here. Hold on a second. Here we go. The Victory Squad has selected you guys as possible candidates for becoming members of their new protege program. The Victory Squad is actually a gold generation team that was originally formed towards the end of the gold generation and then taken on by a group of protege silver generation members who then tried to take on a group of the third generation, the bronze generation. However, the bronze generation kind of rejected everything that the silver stood for and decided that they would try other avenues to try and create things that would be beneficial to the city. These guys went into stuff like becoming federal agents, policemen, firemen, and things like that. Like one of them, his name is Firestarter. Firestarter, actually, his power is actually being able to do fire bolts, but he's learned to control them and actually direct fire. So he's actually working with the fire department now as kind of the on-call fire-related super. You guys know the Victory Squad. There is Captain Justice. They have terrible names. Stick with me here. There is Captain Justice, Queen of the Night, and those are the two that you were told to meet. Like I said, they are Silver Generation heroes, so they are cosmically powered, not like the Gold Generation. The Gold Generation was more about putting on a suit and being very patriotic. So think like your Captain America style characters. That's the Gold Generation. You've been all brought to Victory Squad headquarters, which is similar to something like the Trump Tower, where it's a very large building and the headquarters is actually at the top. As you guys go up, I'd like you to go ahead and describe your characters, what they look like, which is all found on your page 1, and then we'll ask some questions about your party as you're riding the elevator. Start with Eric.
Okay. My lower third isn't working tonight, of course, as Google has been doing, but I'll be playing Broderick Shepard. He is Caucasian and is very much not into the whole spandex or anything like that. Just pretty much casual clothing, very toned down. Doesn't look like he's focused on anything specific. He's just, young white guy who probably would be happier just sitting around the house zoning out on TV.
Does he wear any sort of mask or something to try and hide his identity at all, or is he just a out there hero?
No, he's just out there. I mean, he's like, this is me, and I don't care what you think,
Okay, cool. So he is the outsider. So why don't you tell us how the team came to trust each other I'm sorry, not that one. Tell us what dangerous enemy that the group had to fight that brought you all together, because you had kind of the Avengers moment. There was this ultimate evil that brought you together as a team in the first place.
Okay, and I get to just come up with that?
Yeah.
Oh,
this is a
okay.
very narrative game. You guys have a lot of influence.
Oh, cool. Well, I would have to say that it was some sort of mutant that got into britches that were actually a little bit too big for him, and had to be knocked down a couple of stories and whatnot. I'll go ahead and run with that and say that he was like he could grow to like insane heights and whatnot. and power negation that my character is known for was pivotal in bringing him down. Of course, no pun intended. And the fact probably doubled up the fact that I've never actually used my power negation on them.
Okay, cool. Um, with a delinquent, you get 2 power sets. Which one's your second?
Illusion.
Illusion. Okay, that's a cool mix. We'll see how that plays out. All right, so the next one down the line is going to be Josh. Tell us where the fight was and what accidentally got destroyed.
Okay. The fight would have been in whatever the city's version of. You said it's a lot like New York, so Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
And it says a building in this, so we're going to say we accidentally destroyed the Empire State Building, or I did.
Okay. So, was it collateral damage from you using your power and it just went completely awry on you, or was it like you used your power and he crashed into the building?
It was collateral damage from me using my power. It just went completely and totally awry.
Okay. Since we're talking about Halcyon City being a fictional city, I'm going to say that it's called Capitol Square, and the building that you knocked down is, let's give it a name, because that'll actually be important.
The Capitol building.
Yeah, fits with it. We'll use comic book logic. Not relatively recent comic book knowledge, because they usually get a little bit more creative than that. All right, so next, Michael, we've got your character. Let's go ahead and describe and name your character first, and then I'll ask you my question.
His name is Enrico Santiago, and he's actually from South America. He's a transfer student up here, and he's currently living with a foster family until his family can actually make it into the country. Originally, he started out as a helper as part of a circus, and his family was basically a bunch of dog-faced sideshow freaks. And as he hit puberty, he began to get that same family trait. However, when it manifested in him, it also brought out a genetic mutation that caused him to not only transform into a humanoid version of a dog boy, but have the same type of abilities also, as far as speed, heightened senses, and whatnot.
Okay. And he is a transformed character, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, tell us which prominent figure now hates and fears the team because of the actions at Capitol Square.
The mayor.
Mayor? Okay.
Because since the collateral damage came into effect, and since currently we're all not only too young to be prosecuted, but to be held accountable, everything has fallen upon him financially, politically, and he's not too happy.
All right, perfect. I'm going to give him a name. We're going to call him Alexander Noble, the mayor of Halcyon City here. And next, we've got Wayward Son. Go ahead and describe your character, and you are Legacy, correct?
Correct. Character's name is Bastian. He is very much stereotypical. He's a member of the Legacy group is called the Mythics. They all have some variation on the classic superhero powers: strength, invulnerability, flight, things of that sort. And those are the ones that he has developed. He kind of has inherited his position, and he's struggling to to see if he can live up to this ridiculous pressure of what is, his family has established as a reputation.
Okay. Now, I know that as transformed, you're kind of always in costume, if you would. I forgot to ask, but does Ed Jones wear a costume?
Who is Ed Jones?
That would be Josh's character.
Oh, okay.
Ed Jones does wear a costume, and it's pretty much the one you see in the image.
Okay. Does he go by any special name, or does he use his real name?
He uses his real name only because he isn't able to take his helmet off. His head no longer actually exists.
Okay. And for Bastion, does he wear like the hand-me-down costume from his dad's early days?
He wears the entire of the Legacy group all wears kind of a knightly attire, not so much the armor necessarily, but more the tunic with the family symbol on it, things of that sort. So it would look very similar to his father's, but it's not actually because his father is still active. But he they're kind of
like in that group he'd probably use his real name then, huh?
Well, his real name is known, but he wouldn't use it. They all adopt a special name as well. So his real name is Malcolm Tudor, and that's common knowledge. But he when he's superheroing, he likes to be known as Bastion.
Okay, perfect. All right. So those are kind of the main questions, and then I've got one more for the Legacy here. Tell us what hero or heroes were impressed by the team's first outing, and I would suggest, since we're doing a game one-shot about the Victory Squad, the Victory Squad be part of that.
I was going to say, this is an easy one for me. Captain...
Did his screen go black for everybody else?
Yes.
When this bad guy, who I'm going to call the Megalith, that we took down,
Okay.
I was up there struggling with him, in his full size while my teammates negated his power and shrunk him down to a more manageable size. But that's kind of was my part in the combat, was keeping him occupied so he didn't go on a rampage of the city. But apparently my fellow teammates did some destruction of their own. So that's.
Okay. And then let me take a look, see if there's any more on this list that I just want to know personally. Let's see. Yeah, let's go with this one. And you guys can work together if you want on this one, because I didn't have it assigned to anybody. Tell us what kind of signs that the incident with Megalith was tied to something bigger. What do you guys want to have as maybe like a clue?
How about like some kind of cultish following of some sort?
Maybe there was a cult of a mutant. It was a group of mutant cultists that were working together for whatever nefarious.
Yeah, maybe something similar to the Morlocks.
Okay.
But
yeah.
nowhere near as powerful.
Works for me.
Yeah, I like that. Like, because superheroes have been around for a while, and there are people who would start doing hero worship over them. So I could buy into that. And that actually kind of fits for me. So that's perfect. All right, so you hear the ding of the elevator, and I want you guys to kind of keep in mind that like this is supposed to be kind of a comic book feel. So like this is the panel where you see that little blurb there that just ding, and the doors and the next panel slide open, and you see Captain Justice and Queen of the Night, who are married and publicly known for their actual titles, but their private life has been kept very secure, which is kind of odd because you guys are all coming in, and other than Bastion, you all are very open with your identities. And that's been kind of something that the Victory Squad has been very forward about during their whole time is that whenever possible, they would try and maintain the privacy of their members. But it's always been 4 members. The other 2 are not here, which is Cygnus, which he is a sorcerer. That his powers are derived from a dark being that he has to keep alive in order to keep himself alive. So the dark being has been imprisoned, which you guys know to be Balthazar. He attempted to destroy the city when you guys were much younger. And then the other one would be, let me find the names real quick here because I forgot to list the names for these guys. I know, I did so great today. Here we go. Let's see. The Lawman. He is actually he's got kind of similar to like construction powers like the Green Lantern does, but he seems to have an asphyxiation with like cowboy themed things, and so when he manifests things, it's typically like horses and 6-shooters and things like that. They are currently out. You weren't told as to where exactly they would be, but you were told basically if you need them that you would be given ways to communicate with them. Captain Justice kind of steps forward and he extends his hand in welcome and kind of passes it over the group, and he says, "Welcome, the Chosen, to the Victory Squad headquarters. Please make yourselves at home." The place is very utilitarian in look. There's not a whole lot of like decoration. There's some trophies from past enemies on the walls, but it's mainly just like white furniture and a white room.
Cool. Trophies. I'm gonna head over that way and start checking them out.
Okay.
I'm getting a very young Justice feel off of this.
Exactly.
So
yeah, so
I'm heading over there and just checking them out and being like, "Oh, I remember when you got this one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they had a bad guy named the Anteater that had this crazy plan to build a giant ant structure over the city and smash it. Like you're seeing some of the relics of history right now. The Anteater was a gold generation bad guy from Madagascar. Why they even had one, you're not even sure, to be honest. And what his problem with Halcyon City was, who knows? But there's his mask with that elongated nose that you remember learning about. Because it's such high culture within the city that, like, even when you go to school, it's part of the curriculum now that you learn about current events. Your current events are superhero stuff. You find a sealed item that is referred to as the Eye of Muhammad, which is this structure that's very spherical, and it's got this engraving of an eye inside of it. And you know that that it's served as a prison for demons that were once summoned by the Dark Ones, which was an army of alternate dimension bad guys that were basically the Victory Squad's counterparts. And the list kind of goes on from there, but it's all a bunch of like random stuff that it's like it kind of gets you a little hyped seeing this stuff.
Definitely. And I'm recounting them as I remember them. You know, I'm like, ooh, that one, and you know, this one happened on my birthday 4 years ago, and so on and so forth.
I'll join in that. I'll say I see the scepter of Turah. My father spoke highly of you during that encounter.
The Queen of the Night steps forward and she says, "Ah, yes, your father. I remember them. His whole team, quite a good bunch. They are exceptionally powerful on their own, but when they come together, it is a feat that cannot be matched even by the Victory Squad. I am both humbled and appreciated that your family would release you to our care."
Well, I only hope that I can do them and you justice.
Captain Justice,
sure.
being the corniest guy on the planet, comes over and he goes, "Justice." Let me tell you about justice. And he goes on to that dad speech that you've grown accustomed to, where he just keeps going for 5 minutes, and you slowly find your mind wandering around the room to something else as he's telling you about what the superhero's code is, and what justice means. It's boring all of you, to be honest.
I do my best to put on a non-board front, but yes, no doubt it does begin to, my facade begins to break before.
The Queen will eventually pick up on it, and she will say, "Honey, they have only just arrived. You can begin their lessons later." We will be doing a press release about the addition of you to our team. You are free to take the time to hide your identities if you so choose. Being a superhero can be quite taxing, especially being part of such a public team.
I fear it is not my my lot to hide my identity. My family is well known, as you know.
Yeah, Ed just kind of reaches up and, knocks his knuckles on his helmet and just kind of looks at him. This doesn't come off.
My mom's like my #1 fanboy type of thing, and if I put on a mask and she can't go, "Oh, that's my son," she's gonna get upset. So, keep the mom happy.
Very
I'll
well.
have fun one way or the other.
If you so choose, there is materials for repairing costumes and whatnot inside our equipment room. She kind of points over to it, and you see this one thing that catches your eye, and it's this Red Devil mask, and you instantly recognize it. This is El Diablo Rojo's mask. He came from Mexico. He was a luchador-themed super villain. He was one of the first super villains really to emerge in Halcyon City. He was a nightmare. He would try and go around stealing masks from other heroes and villains, with this sole purpose of being the best.
Fang heads over to the mask, and he definitely recognizes it, and he's just like eyeballing it kind of, and just taken back in amazement because he's definitely seen it on television. He's read about stories.
In Mexico, they kind of played him off like the early footage of like how Captain America was done, where he was a very patriotic hero, and what he was doing was to, make Mexico look better and inspire the world with lucha, and like from like a Mexican national standpoint, he was a hero. He was an envoy of Mexican culture, but from Halcyon City's standpoint, he wrecked buildings to try and get masks off superheroes and stuff like that. Like, he was just a disaster going through the city.
That's misguided. Sad.
I think I actually have issue 1 of this guy's comic book. I think. It was either that or Swamp Master. I get them confused for some reason.
So, a little bit of time passes, and you're able to kind of get a little bit more comfortable inside the place and kind of discuss, your current standing within the group. And Captain steps forward and he says, "We are to go to the press room. If you would follow me, please." And he walks you over to this room, and it's kind of like this platform inside of a big spherical chamber. And across all of these screens flick on, there's a bunch of cameras of both different sections of the city and different reporters from different locations within the city. It looks like most of them are all inside their office taking this interview, but they all seem to be present. You recognize all the faces. It's pretty much every channel that's out there for Halcyon City getting ready to hear it. And Captain Justice says, "Today is a great day. Today we bring 4 new bright stars on board with the Victory Squad. For today is the day that Halcyon City knows new heroes. And you see across the screen an explosion across town in what would be considered the Devil's Kitchen. It's basically their version of Hell's Kitchen. There's a building, an old factory, that just explodes in flames, and Captain Justice immediately kind of stops and he says, "One moment," and he kind of looks up there, and the Queen says, "We must go." And the Queen turns around, and she's already out the door, gone. She's flying, by the way. Captain Justice turns to the reporters and he says, "Forgive us, we'll have to do this another time." And then he turns to you and he says, "The same goes for you, unfortunately. You're to sit this one out." And then he starts heading out.
I look to the cameras, and I'm just like, if I didn't say this, I'd get skinned when I get back home. Hi, Mom. And I'll kind of, like turn around and
like as
watch them go and be like, what's up? I mean.
Like, we see the panel of you being like, "Hi, Mom," and then the next panel is like the screens shutting off one by one as the reporters are like, "Nope, there's no story here." All the city surveillance pick cameras are still up, but the reporters are kind of shutting down because they have to do it another time.
Just kind of look over the rest of the team. Did he just tell us to stay here?
That's what it sounded like.
I say we go anyway.
He actually told us to set this one out, not to stay here. I don't think we would be wrong if we went to watch. Certainly we could learn something.
Semantics. That's my favorite game.
Works
All
for
right.
me.
So you guys jump in the elevator and you start riding your way back down, getting ready to get out there.
I was thinking of just flying behind them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fly behind him.
We got a gravity guy. We've got the legacy that can fly. We've got a dog, which is going to run behind a dog man. And then I was going to say, are you going to grab your counterparts?
I assume I can carry one of them. I'm strong, so I'll take the one that looks heavier.
Okay.
I could probably easily carry one of them with gravity manipulation.
But I just assume that since I'm strong, I can carry the heavier ones.
Yeah, let's we're gonna. This is not gonna be like a thematic moment where it's gonna necessarily be something that I want to roll over. So I like the idea of Ed just like throwing this bubble of like gravity displacement around him that just picks up the two of you, and you've grown accustomed to this like weightlessness as he just kind of like floats you through the city and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of standing there. I just had my hands in my pockets, and I'm just like,
Fang does not feel comfortable at all, and he's just like...
Fang's kind of doing like a swim in the air kind of thing.
It's basically like picking up a dog, throwing it into a swimming pool. It's like... So, yeah.
Perfect. Now, on the way there, you guys have kind of a moment to reflect on your history together. On page 2 of your booklets, basically on the left-hand side, when you look at the PDF, there's a section that says relationships. What we're going to do is go ahead and fill those in and kind of talk about the memories that are associated with those. Let's start with we'll start with Bastion first, actually.
I had a quick question. So this would be with the members of the group?
Exactly.
Okay. I once got caught. I kind of glance over. So who am I carrying? I don't have the dog.
You're not actually carrying anybody. They're being brought up by the gravity bubble that Jones is emitting.
Oh, all right. Well, first of all, I look a little disappointed. I want to carry someone. It looks cool when you're carrying folks around, you know. So I think probably Ed and I probably had a little. Ed's the one that destroyed the building, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I think once Ed started showing his issues with control and the such, I technically was supposed to try to avoid him as much as possible, but according to my family just doesn't like folks who can't control themselves. So, but by hanging around and continuing to spend time with Ed and working with him, I'm kind of going a little bit against the family's wishes there. And let's see. So who's our fourth one? There's Ed. There's the dog boy, and there's who's the fourth? Who am I missing?
No.
No. Yeah.
No. Okay. So yeah. So and then I kind of I give Noel a knowing glance that I've trusted them with one of the a little something that most people don't know about my legacy group, and I kind of just kind of give that glance of I trust you, and I hope that we'll be that trust will be returned over time.
Okay. Now you are trusting them with a secret of your legacy as part of that. What's the secret that you've entrusted to him?
It turns out that the one of the biggest villains in the history of the Silver Age, Titan, is actually a member of the Legacy group. He probably would have been the greatest of us all had he remained a hero, but instead he turned, and very few people know that he's actually one of us.
Okay. Perfect. And let's go over to Fang. You have a couple relationships there as well. So how the relationships
Yes,
work?
I do.
Sorry, let's kind of stop there for a second. How the relationship works is they have influence over you, and the way influence works is you care about what they say and what they do. So if they ever try to do a move to try and change you, which is like they tell you something that maybe changes your character, like they are attempting to bolster you and tell you that you're a great combatant or something like that. They have influence over you, so they're going to gain a bonus when it comes to defending against them.
Okay. Mine are who comforted me when I was at my lowest. I'd have to say probably Bastion, because he's like the Boy Scout, Captain America-esque type, super motivation. He basically told me, do not worry about what the outside world thinks about you, but just stand up on all four paws and do what you got to do.
Okay.
And who knew me before I changed? I'd have to say probably Ed. We probably met out on the street. I'm assuming
I go to college, if that helps.
Hmm?
My character goes to college, if that helps.
Yeah. We could have definitely met over there because he is a transfer student. I'm going to say probably in a class.
Okay. All right. And again, those that have the relationship with you have influence over you. So let's go with Ed next.
Okay. For mine, I would say me and Bastion, because he seems really comfortable inside this bubble, hang out all the time to blow off steam. We play video games, stuff like that, read comic books. We're both kind of nerdy. And let's go with Fang. I accidentally once hurt Fang when I lost control of my powers. And I guess he could have been hit by a large piece of rubble from that building I accidentally destroyed.
That might explain why he seems very uncomfortable in this gravity bubble right now.
Exactly.
I still have a bald spot right on my ass.
That would also explain why the Legacy family wasn't too happy with you either.
All right, perfect. And let's go ahead and hear from Null.
Okay, well, let me see here. The first one was constantly trying to impress somebody with my antics, and I'm going to go with the easy one here and say I'm always trying to impress Fang by doing like really outlandish and hilarious illusions that like do like a running social commentary on what's going on around us. You know, and making pop culture references with these illusions as appropriate to what's going on. Just like as a quick, you know, one-liner, but I don't actually say anything. I just make the illusion and we go on about it. Ed helped me with like my breakout performance is what I called it. And people are still wondering if it's technically illegal. But I pulled off an illusion that made a whole neighborhood in the city disappear. But the problem is it hasn't reappeared. So, you know, it's not like people are dead. You know, people that live there, you know, are seen and go throughout the day, but you know, nobody.
It's like as soon as they pass that block, like as soon as they enter that block, they just disappear.
Exactly. And
Okay.
I just can't quite seem to pull it back together. So people are like, "That was pretty awesome. Now bring them back." I'm like, "Damn it, I can't do it. Damn it, I know they're there. They know they're there. Just nobody else knows they're there."
All right, perfect. I like that. So how the influence works for the legacy, everyone has influence over the legacy. So if you guys ever try to change legacy or do anything like that, or any powers that or any moves that target the legacy, you'll get a +1 on. The delinquent, for example, they have influence on. Let's see, you care more than you let on. Three teammates have influence over you, so the rest of the team.
Pretty much.
And the transformed here, you try not to care what other people think, even if it isn't going too well. Give one member of the team influence. So who would you like to give influence over you?
Like I said, I'd probably give it to Bastion.
Okay. And the last one is the Nova, which I completely scrolled past your sheet, but I know you have to choose a demeanor.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lockdown because that's how I'm really kind of playing this character.
Okay.
So we will give influence to the Bastion.
If you're choosing the demeanor for... Oh, yep, sorry. I'm looking at the protege. Forgive me. This is why I like printed sheets for this stuff.
Under influence, it says if you choose Lockdown, give influence to one teammate. So
The protege also has a demeanor thing inside of it, which is where I was mixed up.
So I'd give influence to the Bastion. And quick note, I did mean Null for the comic book thing, because the Bastion hasn't really seemed like a comic book nerd.
I was going to say, I wouldn't fight it too hard, but...
Yeah, I kind of meant the Null for that one. So.
Perfect.
That's cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'd probably read the comics of my family, you know, that sort of thing. But beyond that.
And that's kind of like the relationship thus far. So at the beginning of the game, so you guys have some stuff to kind of play with narratively. So inside your gravity bubble, you guys are kind of going across the city. what you're attempting to do right now by going in is still within the rules of technically what's been laid out to you by the adults. So I'm not going to require anything from you for that. But if you do decide that you want to go against the rules of what the adults have laid out for you, that's when we start doing moves and things like that. Okay. So you guys get over to the Devil's Kitchen, and the Devil's Kitchen has caught on fire. You see that the lawman and Cygnus are also there. Cygnus is basically enveloping buildings in the shadows of his cloak and casting spells. He's trying to put out the fire by basically putting out this solid darkness to choke out the oxygen in there. Lawman is actually entering buildings, grabbing people and pulling them out. And then Captain Justice, he's kind of your standard fly and punch things kind of hero. So he's doing his best to just get people out of buildings because he's not equipped to handle the fire and stuff like that. And then Queen of the Night is actually pretty much doing the same thing. She's actually, as far as playbooks are concerned, she would be something similar to a protege where she kind of was brought on and she has a tool belt and things like that. She's very Batman-themey. You can see that they're actually struggling with this, and they all seem to be focused on this one building, which is a fireworks factory on the other side of the kitchen. You can tell that they're trying to get everything taken care of and get that building secured so that it doesn't light on fire.
I'll go ahead and set us down on a building, like probably across the street that isn't on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Set us down on the roof so so Fang isn't freaking out anymore.
Much appreciated.
Try and keep us at elevation too, because I got an idea I want to try out here. But from our position that he sets us down in, can we get a look at traffic, as far as the people that are trying to get clear and whatnot, crowd control type situation?
Yeah, you definitely can. It looks like the crowd is being controlled fairly well. There's a lot of cops on scene, and the cops, because of years of practice, have gotten really good about just getting people out of the way. There's a lot of evacuation drills and practices within Halcyon City, and it looks like the evacuation's going fairly well. The big concern is more collateral damage at the moment. And if those buildings become structurally unsafe, that's a problem for the escaping people.
Right. If it's something like I notice, like one of these problem sites that are automatically, or not automatically, but are catching fire quickly, and if I'm in range, so I don't break any rules, I'll just use my illusions to kind of outline paths that people should take to get free from wherever they're stuck. I know I'm not going to be able to do it very much, but if I see a situation like that, that's how I'm going to interact and go, I helped that guy.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's going to be an Unleash Your Powers. And so how that goes, once again, is going to be 2d6, but it's going to be adding your freak to that number.
Okay. I actually do not have a freak modifier.
Okay, so it's +0.
Okay, well, here comes the 2d6. And I get an 8.
Okay. With your 8, that puts you in the 7 to 9 category. Basically, you can mark a condition or effect, or you can choose to mark a condition, or the effect is unstable, temporary, or dangerous, and you get to pick which one you want it to be. That'll kind of change how we narrate this. And that's basically how all moves in the game go. It usually gives you a choice between what you want to do.
So I can put a condition on it, or what else? Where?
You can. The basics move sheet is where Unleash Your Powers is. You can either mark a condition, which is one of those like angry, insecure, guilty, afraid, or you can say that the power that you're using is unstable, temporary, or dangerous.
Let's just go with temporary.
Temporary. Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that. So you throw up your illusions, and what you're basically doing is kind of like, what exactly are you putting more like cops out to help direct traffic by creating like these illusionary clones or something?
No, I'm literally like kind of like the Green Lantern does with his constructs, except mine are just illusions.
They're just not
Like,
solid.
yeah, like maybe a sign that says "flee this way,"
Okay.
or this way to not catch on fire, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. So you put up some like this way to safety signs.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Um, you guys are kind of witnessing everything that's going down. Is anybody else going to do anything for the people trying to get out of the city before I move on?
I'm actually spending my time pointing out what the actual victory squad is doing, and see how Captain Justice is using his his mobility to help these folks over here, and the Queen of the Night is doing this over here, and kind of acting like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, you do know for the most part because they are very public figures. You're like, oh, that's his signature move. It's the cosmic punch. When you see that Captain Justice punches down a building that's about to collapse on fire, so he can control the fall of the building. But where they're at now, which has really kind of caught your attention, is they're trying to go stop the fire from going into the fireworks factory, and it's like neck and neck with them trying to put out this fire. They go into the building explodes, and then it's that classic comic book move where the heroes kind of step out and their suits are kind of on fire, but they just don't care. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of green-skinned short guys come out, and they all are about 3 feet in height. They all seem to be about the same dimensions as well as you're looking at them. And there's a bigger one that comes flying in from the top of a building with an elbow down, and he just smashes into Captain Justice and leaves a crater inside the ground where he hits. This is some guy that you've never seen before. The minis are grabbing the other heroes and pulling on their costume and trying to hit them with like anything that's around. They're pulling up stop signs and stuff like that. What do you do?
I think for my part, I would have to watch for a few seconds and see how the other three fare, just because I want to follow the instructions I was given, so that
Okay.
I would.
Yeah, you are doing your best to kind of follow the instructions. What about the rest of the team? I feel like the delinquent might have something to say here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're using any sort of obvious power, like the bigger one. Is the strength because of his size or because of power output type of thing? I don't know if that's something I can sense or if I just have to witness or how that exactly works.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell he's throwing around some powers, and he's probably got some strength behind him, at a minimal, because he basically just jumped off a building and pile drived Captain Justice and knocked a crater in the ground. So that much is pretty obvious.
But is that strength because of a power, or is it just inherent because he's big?
Oh no, it's definitely a power. He's no bigger than you are.
Oh, okay. Well then, I have a move that I would like to do. I want to do Troublemaker.
Okay.
Basically, oh wait, no, this is when I help a teammate. Oh man. That stinks. I read it wrong. I have to
It's all
help
right.
a teammate through it. Let me see here. Here we go. I'll do. Are you watching closely?
Okay.
And I will. I'll see if I can do a twofer here. I'm gonna make an illusion where Captain Justice disappears, and hopefully I can do this to expose a weakness or flaw, or confuse them. I guess I have to roll to see how good I can do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, ooh, I rolled 12.
Okay.
I got double sixes, so I guess Captain Justice kind of vanishes, and I expose some type of weakness on this guy.
Okay. So, yeah, you expose a weakness on him. It appears that his weakness is he's very showy. The thing that kind of gives it away is he's got these hovering camera orbs around him, and once he's struck down Captain Justice, he gets up and he starts flexing his muscles, and it takes you just a second, and then you look at him and you have this flashback to the mask you saw earlier. It's like a green version of El Diablo Rojo. This has got to be El Diablo Verde, a legacy in his own right.
Alrighty then. I'm just still, my hands are in my pockets. I'm making no obvious movements whatsoever. I'm just like, yeah, okay.
On the inside, you're kind of nerding out right now. You're like, oh
yeah,
man, legacy bad guy.
Yeah, this is awesome, but I'm really curious how they take it, how Captain Justice takes advantage of this little surprise, Meanwhile, I'm trying to formulate a better illusion, basically, to really screw with this guy. So
It doesn't look like Justice is getting up. He's because you can see through your own illusions. He's
Right.
just laying on the ground. He's not moving, and it appears that El Diablo Verde has decided he's done with him, even if he did disappear, because he's starting to kind of walk out of the hole. What does Ed want to do on this one?
How many of these people can fly?
Out of the Victory Squad,
Yeah.
there is Cygnus and Captain Justice, so they've got 2 flyers just like you.
Okay. So neither the girl can't fly, and neither can the outlaw guy.
The lawman can if he constructs something that flies, but he doesn't do it very often because he likes keeping with his cowboy theme for some reason. Even though his powers will let him construct anything he wants, really.
But yeah, I think all of them could, can respond to the unknown rather quickly. I'm going to openly use my powers, and I'm going to try to neutralize gravity on basically the entire row where they are. The enemies around them, and I'm basically going to drop it and make everything float.
Okay, perfect. That is going to be an unleash your powers. It's going to be roll plus your freak modifier.
Okay. That is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 6, 5, and plus 2.
Okay, 13. Let me hold this up once more.
It's going to be horrible when I
Okay.
roll. All those numbers are going to be gone.
A 13, how that works is, on a hit, you extend your senses, reshape your environment, or overcome an obstacle. So you're basically going to get it as the way you want, but you can also do one of those effects. You can reshape the environment, which is what you're shooting for right now.
Yeah.
So you kind of do this line of anti-gravity, and they all start kind of floating, and you can see for a second that you've caught El Diablo Verde off. He seems to want to be on the ground. He's not a flyer himself. So he's trying to judge the situation. You can see him go into this tight, locked defensive stance for a second as he's trying to assess what the change in the situation is. Queen of the Night turns around and she screams at you, "Run! Get out of here!" For that, if you guys would like to go against her wishes, I am going to need to blah blah. Here we go. It's an influence roll. So this is going to be the NPC telling you that that you need to run away, and he's trying to. The Queen of the Night is trying to put her influence on you. So if you would like to reject her influence of telling you to run away, it's going to be a it's going to be an influence roll. So it's going to be 2d6 plus 1 because she's got 1 influence over you.
Oh wait, will that be? That makes her roll better that she has influence.
Well, technically, this is a opposite roll. This one works a little different. You basically you want to succeed on this one. This one works a little backwards because they used a mechanic that is similar to the way Apocalypse World damage works. So go ahead and roll your 2d6 and then add +1 for influence.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, I have it backwards. They have influence over you. You don't get the +1. It's just the 2d6 for you because you don't have influence over them. Sorry.
As predicted. 5.
Okay.
I know I failed. I got the same thing, 5.
I got an 8.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you get to choose one of the following. You can clear a condition by immediately acting to prove them wrong. You can shift one label up and one label down. Or you can cancel their influence and take +1 forward against them.
I think I'll take option 1 and choose to act.
Okay, the first one is to clear a condition. Right now you don't have any conditions. If that changes your mind.
Oh, okay.
But you can simply act to kind of defy her and be like, no, we can handle this. Because she's very much treating you like a child at this point.
I'll act. If I head down onto the ground in the current area that's being affected by gravity, is that going to affect me also? Is it an area of effect, or is it targeted?
Because he's a Nova, I would say that it's probably going to be an area of effect. What do you think, Ed?
Oh yeah, I totally meant it to be an area of effect.
Yeah, like I think that you don't have enough precision on your powers just yet to get that.
Okay. Then he's basically going to be running back and forth, and he just keeps eyeballing Bastion. Or actually, he's over here like,
well,
what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Since Bastion failed his role, I assume that means.
What that means is I'm going to have you mark a condition, and I get to change one of your labels.
Okay.
As to how that she's affected you, and what I think that she's going to do is the way she's affected you is she's actually going to go to your self-image. So she's actually going to affect your mundane. She's going to increase it. She's trying to say that you're not ready for this, that you're not powerful enough for this enemy.
So she increases it, okay?
Yep. The more mundane you become, the more normal you are.
So nothing goes down?
Nope, it's just going to be a shift that way, because I think it fits for the story.
All right, and then I pick a condition, is that right, or do you pick it?
And then we'll pick a condition for you, which I'm going to say is insecure, because I think that makes the most sense.
All right, I was going to think I could get angry, but I'll go with insecure. So I'm going to say, well, you heard the woman. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
And you know what?
And I kind of I start flying, not too far or too fast, but enough to show that I'm leaving.
And you know what? I have the perfect delinquent move. I don't give a damn what you say.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna get a +2 to this, and let us see here. I got 2 3s, so I have a total of an 8.
Okay. With an 8, you get to choose one off the list, which is clear condition immediately, shift a label up. One label up, one label down. Or you can
You know
cancel
what?
influence and take +1 forward if you'd like.
I want to take a +1 to freak.
Okay. What are you going to shift down then?
Mundane.
Okay. I think that's pretty fitting. You're kind of standing against this and you're saying, no, I have the power to do this.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I can make a little bit of a difference here, so why am I going to run away? But at the same time, you know, my hands are still in my pockets, and I'm just sitting here going, whatevs.
Okay. So, yeah, you turn your back to leave Bastion, and you're going to notice that the rest of the group is kind of lingered behind you. It's up to you if you want to continue to stay with your team, or if you want to just stick to the rules or the instructions that have been passed down to you.
So
Once you make that realization.
So I don't have to actually act on what she said, even though I.
No, the consequences that I gave you are the consequences. If you still want to defy her, you can do so. The fact that you kind of played into it for a moment, and then your party, or the rest of your team was like, "No, we can do this," may have reinvigorated you to want to turn around. Like if they all failed and you all left, that'd be one thing.
Well, what I'll say then is that I start to fly away. I look and I see them, and I come to the realization that I can't just abandon them. I've got to, if they're foolish enough to stay, I can't let them get hurt because I left. So I will grudgingly return.
Okay.
Are you trying to get yourselves killed?
No, I just wanted you to watch my next trick. And,
I think this is kind of coming naturally, but does it feel like to the rest of you that Bastion is your leader, if you would? Like, I get the feeling that you're not super organized, but I think like Bastion maybe has a little bit more sway with you guys, right?
I wouldn't call it sway. I would definitely call it more experience, more seasoned.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say he's more experienced than us, but he has that legacy to pull from. You know, he's got the stories that can reference and give us some insight if we miss it. So it's not his experience; it's his family's that he's drawing.
Yeah,
right.
Which I kind of like that better. You know?
Yeah, I like that too. It's we're talking about Young Justice. It's kind of like how Robin's basically their hero because of his background, and not necessarily his own actions.
And he knows everything. You know.
Yeah, I like that.
Absolutely.
So with the leader has influence over all teammates, by the way. So if you would like, Bastion, and you want to order them, you can exert your own influence over them.
Yeah, I had influence over them already, but
now you have 2.
Yeah. Oh, you can have multiple. Oh, nice. Shut all y'all down.
Bow before me.
No.
But I mean, you see them standing together, like coming together in front of you, and this is what you've been working on to shape them into the team that you've been wanting.
I'm really.
Nope, he cut out again.
He's taking a pause.
There you are.
Good legacy guy, and doing what the more experienced folks teach me, and watching them really. I say, look, guys. Maybe they can handle this on their own. If another one goes down, we'll go in and help. Till that time, let's stay up here.
It sounds like you guys are perfect. So it sounds like you guys are putting together a plan, and how battle works inside Masks is you once you've decided on a plan, you enter the plan. It goes into effect And basically, once the leadership role can change. If like, let's say Ed puts out a plan and everybody goes, okay, let's do Ed's plan, he's the leader for that situation. So let's see, you get +2. Does everybody feel that that's the same purpose that they have? If a second one of the victory squad goes down, that you're going to intervene, or do you feel like you should be doing it sooner?
I'm already intervening. So, I mean...
Yeah, I think it should have been sooner, because Captain Justice is down already as it is.
Does anybody mistrust your leader or anyone on the team?
Oh, not at this point, no.
Okay.
No.
And I don't think you guys are ill-prepared. So what it's going to be is a +2 to a roll from the leader, which is going to be Bastion.
So I roll now?
Yep. And by the way, the number that's up in my corner is your team pool points. Basically, how they work is if you want to assist someone, you can give them one of your team points, and then that gives them a +1 to whatever they're rolling. Okay, so 9, so 11. Perfect. You get to add 3 to the team pool, which is why I was bringing it up. So you guys have 4 going into this situation that you guys can decide how you want to bring up. And because it is a team pool, the team kind of has to agree, hey, that's a good use of it, and just generally, work as a team. So next, I'm gonna go over to Fang.
Arr?
Poor Fang. There's no gravity over there for him.
There is no gravity, but I actually have a plan. I'm going to run over to the corner of the building that's closest to where the action is down below. I'm going to use a transformed move called Be the Monster. When you frighten, intimidate, or cow others with your monstrous form, roll 2d6 plus freak. On a hit, they are thrown off and make themselves vulnerable to you, or they flee. So I'm going to basically stand up there and the comic cartoonish pose of like puffing out my chest and just doing that Wolfman howl to attempt to intimidate them.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll it up here. Let's see. 1, 2.
Since you're a little bit closer, you can see that these little short versions of El Diablo Verde are identical. They're mini clones.
So with a +3, I got a 12.
Perfect. So it'll say on there, on a hit, your power does this.
Yes.
And that's what it's going to do.
So on a 10, I'm going to choose... on a hit, they're thrown off and make themselves vulnerable to you, or they flee. So
Okay.
I'm going to choose that they flee.
They flee? Okay, I'm cool with that. So they start screaming, and they ball up, and you can see that they keep shrinking smaller and smaller, and then a little green mask hits the ground, and the green mask disappears. It seems like the group is thinning. There's quite a bit of those little mini clones that are gone, and El Diablo Verde will turn around and he will kind of strike a pose, and he'll point, like do the lightning pose for his muscles there, and he shouts. Since Fang is a transfer student, he would understand it, and anybody who has background in Spanish. Basically, he's shouting "Green Blaster." And he shoots off one beam off of that one arm that's sticking forward. Once he flexes with the back arm, it's completely ridiculous, but it totally matches. And everybody who's nerding out about him being a legacy villain is like, "Oh, that was Rojo's ability." He blasts the lawman with it, and you can see the lawman hits the dirt, doesn't get up. After a few more seconds, he turns around and he's just wailing into Cygnus. Cygnus is a magician and just isn't built for melee combat like that. You know that he's only got a little bit of time left. Ed, you've got the chance to react. What are you going to do?
I am going to. Okay, how does burn work?
Okay, let me pull up the sheet for you real quick here. You said burn?
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot Legacy is, or Nova is like the second one in here. Here we go. Okay, basically you charge up your powers. You roll plus any conditions that you have currently.
Okay.
So if you have 2 conditions marked, you'd get a +2. And then if you hit, which is, once again, that 10 or above, you get 3 burn to spend however you want. And then if you have 7 and 9, you get to mark a condition. And on a miss, you hold, or sorry, you hold 3 burn and mark a condition on a 7 to 9. On a miss, you hold 2 burn and mark 3 conditions.
Okay, so I would have to roll to attack first to use one of these flare abilities.
Yeah, you have to charge your abilities first, and then you can start throwing out the powers, the flare abilities there.
Okay, I'm going to charge my powers then.
Okay. So you begin channeling it. What does it look like when Ed starts channeling his powers? Like, what kind of environmental effects are we seeing?
Like, as he starts to channel his powers, his body becomes outlined in this, like sky blue glow, and you see like loose things around his feet begin to float up off the roof as the effects of gravity around him are lessened.
Okay. So like maybe like dirt and debris and stuff like that around like 10 feet or so of Ed starts kind of drifting.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's get that roll.
Okay, that is a 9, 6 and 3. And
Okay.
I'm using Unleash Your Power, so I guess.
No, that one is the burn ability. It's roll plus conditions, and right now you don't have any conditions marked, so you're going to have a 9 total, which means that you get to mark a condition, and then you will hold 3.
Okay, I'll mark the condition angry.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I guess I'll hold 3 burn.
Yep, which you'll be able to spend on the flares with the next round here.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go with Null. I think I might have caught him at a bad time.
Okay. Apologies. I just had family
all right.
walk into the room and ask me a question. Am I supposed to be doing something now?
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna go with you next.
Is it my turn?
So I was gonna say, so you've seen this before. You know, Ed's charging up, and it takes him a little bit to charge up his powers, but it's kind of like getting the car turned over. Once he's got his powers charged up, you guys are in the clear. He's gonna start throwing out the big stuff, which may mean collateral damage from histories speaking, anyways.
Right. I'm definitely going to be using Unleash Your Powers, and I'm going to be trying to do like a twofer again. Basically, I'm gonna throw up like a neon sign, right above the big bad, and have it just say fetch. 3 exclamation points, trying to get Fang's attention. And then as soon as it pops up, I want to hit him with nullify powers. So he's sitting there about to get all charged up and whatnot, and I'm just like,
okay,
gone.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the roll plus freak.
Okay. And I have a +1 to freak now. So that is a 6. That's only a 7.
Okay. With a 7, you can mark a condition, or the effects are unstable, temporary, or dangerous.
So if I want to say it's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Okay. So you throw up your sign, and you're like, "Oh man, this is going to be so great!" And then you realize that your sign is right over Queen of the Night. It is
Oh,
not actually on top of El Diablo Verde like you planned on it.
oh
Well, I'll
no.
fetch that.
Legacy. It looks like
Whoops.
they're maybe sticking to your plan. They're kind of getting everything lined up, and you're ready to lead your team in. What is Legacy
Absolutely.
going to do? Or what is
Well,
Bastion going to do next?
Bastion can do exactly what Bastion should be doing. He's going to say, "All right, I'm going to finish this. This is out of hand. I'm going to fly just in the traditional straight fly, shoot, punch this fella right in the mouth. With no concern for my well-being. I guess it would just be whatever that is, mighty blow, or
Yeah, you can directly engage him if you'd like.
that's exactly
Unless
what I
it's
want.
going to be related to your powers. Like if you want it to be related to your divine powers, like how this attack works, then we could do it as unleash your powers.
Well, I'm assuming I don't know to hit him with my big muscly muscles. Is that a power thing, or is that just a straight up?
I would say that that's going to be a directly engage, because you're not
Okay.
trying to reshape your environment or overcome an obstacle or extend your senses.
I'm just trying to reshape his face.
Yep.
All right, so I add my danger.
Danger.
Falcon Punch.
Let's see. So I wonder. Actually, looking at this, my danger isn't so good. Do we want to use some team on this? Is that how we just talk about
Yeah.
it, or
You guys can definitely talk about it, and once you decide that you want to use team, you guys get to narrative power on how you're going to use team. Like if you wanted to, for example, say Ed, since he's charging up, just kind of like alters the gravity around so that your fist becomes more dense with the attack. You could do something like that.
So it's up to you guys. And my
Looks like
danger is
Ed's
actually
down.
a minus 1.
Mm.
Okay, looks like Ed's down with it. Do you want to do it the way I suggested, making his fist more dense?
Yeah, like just basically as I'm charging up, I'm just like creating this almost altering level layer of gravity around his fist.
Excellent.
I definitely want to assist as well. I'm trying to think of how I can do that, since I missed with the nullify power.
Mhm.
Is there any way I can transfer that, and in hopes of Bastion hitting him, kind of put an energy field in front of him to where if he hits,
Try and dampen the enemy's abilities a little.
this thing's gonna be hampered a little bit.
Yeah, okay, I'm
So-
down with that. Does Fang have any superpowers that we don't know about other than being Fang and terrifying?
He's got heightened senses, and he has inhuman might. So
Okay,
in
so
this
maybe if you were like
instance,
side by side. that-
yeah, it's not really going to do him any help besides giving him
That's
a
all right.
Scooby-Doo.
So it sounds like you guys have talked about putting 2 team into it. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Oops, let me take that the correct way.
You can give us 6. That's cool.
So you're going to get a +1 now because you had a -1 to start with.
Right.
And you guys can spin team after the roll if you want to as well.
Oh, look at that quality.
So we are at a total of 3 right now. If you spend any more team, it's not going to do anything because you gotta at least hit that 7.
Right.
So you go in, and El Diablo Verde, in kind of the classy, terrible villain that he is based upon, he will actually let you punch him, and he will kind of like, as you're done, he kind of turns his head around, and he looks at you and he says, "You're not worth my time. Go away, child." And he's going to try and exert influence over you.
Okay. So I have to. Do I roll or does he
Yes,
roll?
you're going to roll on that one.
Right.
It's going to be, let's see here. He has one influence over you, but that's not important.
I roll a 4.
See, this is what I was talking about with Dice Stream. Do you have 2d6? Because I think your Dice Stream's bugged.
It's a powerful 4, okay?
I do. But
I'm gonna let you. I was gonna say I'm gonna
it's
let you
not the same in real
reroll.
life.
Because I've seen it where Dice Stream will bug and you won't get above like the lower half of the die.
8.
Okay, perfect. So with an 8, you can choose one, clear one condition immediately by acting to prove them wrong. You can shift one label up, just shift one label down of your choice, or you can cancel their influence and take +1 forward against them.
+1 what against them?
+1 forward, which means on your next roll against that person, you get a +1.
Okay. You know what? I'll just I think I'm gonna use this opportunity to clear that insecurity that Queen of the Night gave me.
Okay. So how are you going to act?
Actually, no. I take that back. No. I'm going to take +1 forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to cancel his influence, and you have that steely soul moment where you're like, you give him that look like you have no power over me.
Right.
Okay. So Ed, we said that your power went off without a hitch, so it is still gravity or loose gravity in there, which doesn't really matter much to Bastion since he flies. But you know that Fang is kind of limited right now. What are you going to do about your situation currently? You've also got some burn to use on flares.
Okay, I can just drop the gravity well without rolling anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm immediately going to drop the gravity well after I make my attack. But first, I'm going to spend. I've got 3 burn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to spend 1 burn on overcharge, 1 burn on reality storm, and another burn so I don't do any collateral damage.
Perfect. I was going to say, I'm sure you saw it inside your move book. You don't have to use them all at once, but you definitely can.
So I just roll I rolled a directly engaged threat now, which is 10 plus on Unleash My Powers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you get to roll with your free consider your danger when you directly engage like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you get done with the dice rolls, I'd like you to narrate what your gravity attack here is with all this power up.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what is it? Does the 10 plus on the Unleashing Your Power actually add to the die roll, or what?
You're directly engaging the foe, not unleashing power.
Yeah, but I was also overcharging, whatever that does.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you are overcharging. So for the overcharge, that one, it is a 10 plus, so you're going to be able to reshape your environment or overcome an obstacle or extend your senses using your powers.
Okay. I basically, what I'm trying to do is slam this guy with a massive altering ball of incredibly dense gravity. I'm basically trying to slam the force of a black hole directly into him.
Okay. Well, how about this? Because we're still kind of learning the system. When you guys want to do something, just kind of describe it to me like that, and then we'll decide what it is. I think that's not going to be unleashing your powers. I think that's just going to fall under directly engaged. So if you want to keep the flare that you would have spent on the other ability that lets you do the unleash powers, just stick with the directly engaged for now.
Yeah, I'll just do the reality storm and the one burn to not do any collateral damage, and I'll keep the overcharge burn. So that's essentially what I'm doing, and that is, like I said, it's a 6 plus 4, so 10 plus freak is 12.
Okay, perfect. So with a 12, you are going to, on a hit, you trade, let's see, on a hit, you trade blows. 10 plus, you get to pick 2 of the options. So you can, this is on the basic moves sheet, resist or avoid the opponent's blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Okay.
You get to choose 2 off that list.
Also, I'm looking for trade blows on the moves list.
It's actually under directly engage in the basic moves book.
Okay. I'll create an opportunity for my allies, and I'll try to impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Okay, perfect. Which one would you like to do out of those impress, surprise, or frighten?
Frighten.
Frighten. Okay. So, what does the attack look like? You said it was going to be a hyperdense gravity well that you're just kind of like palming, right?
Yeah. So basically, as he's holding his hand out, and this, like, it begins to be like with a soft blue glow, and just expands into this like black, dense, primordial energy that's surrounded by a blue glow, and it just fires out and streams towards this guy's chest.
Okay. Verde tries to swing at you, and it's one of those moments where your blow goes under and his goes just a little too high, so you manage to kind of like get him right in the gut, and you land that ball in there, and it's like got that BAM cell on the comic book page now, and Verde gets knocked back into a building, and he smashes up against it. There's a bunch of window damage. He kind of steps forward, and he looks around and realizes that there's a team that he wasn't expecting on him now. He will look at you and he will say, "Ed Jones, I will have you for my wall." And he walks over to where the lawman is, and lawman wears like a kind of like a Zorro mask and a cowboy hat for his to cover his identity. Verde rips off the Zorro mask and holds it triumphantly, and he says, "When Captain Justice returns, he owes me a mask." And he starts trying to walk away from you guys. What do you do?
Okay, well, right there, if you said Lawman is a secret identity,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cast an illusion on him where it blurs his face and puts a question mark there. So
It's an episode of Cops.
so nobody. And I'm just sitting there, still hands in my pockets, and I'll be like, "Whoops!"
I like it. It fits with your character. I'm not even going to say you got to roll for it. I like it for the story.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of fitting with character, I'm going to, if I can, I'm going to do whatever options I have available to stop him. Either fly around and punch him, or grapple him, or
absolutely.
whatever.
He's pretty much written you guys off, except for Ed, who he apparently knows his name.
Yeah, Ed just kind of looks at him, once again, knocks his knuckles on his helmet. This don't come off that easy.
I say, so you know his name. Now learn mine. Learn the power of Bastion. And I'll attempt to do something heinous to him.
Okay.
And I get my +1 forward.
Yep.
I guess it's just another directly engage.
It is. Directly engage is basically your attack roll.
All right. So that will be 9, -1 for danger, +1 for forward, so a 9.
Perfect. So on a 9, you get to pick one from the list.
I was going to do, but you said we could spend team afterward, so
You can.
would it be worth
So-
it to shift it up to a 10? I wonder.
You get to pick 2 off the list, which would actually be worthwhile, because normally when you attack someone, they automatically attack you back, unless you stop it by
I don't mind
buying
him
that
attacking.
ability to resist.
I don't mind him attacking you back. That's all of my abilities are about getting punched in the face, so that's fine.
Okay.
Punch in the face.
But I could use it to create an opportunity for one of my allies,
Hmm.
and I think the first thing
Actually,
I think also
I'm
impress,
sorry.
surprise, or frighten. Go ahead.
Actually, I'm sorry, I forgot. Ed created an opportunity for you, which I narrated and then forgot to give you the bonus for. You're catching him surprised because he walked away from you. So you're already at a 10, actually.
Okay.
So you're going to be able to pick 2.
So I don't want to resist their blows. I'll take my chances there. He doesn't have anything to. Could I take his mask? Piss him off. That's fine.
It's laced up. It's going to take more than that.
That's fine. No problem. So I'll go with the other 2. I'll create an opportunity for. I think Fang would be a good one.
Okay.
And then I'll impress him maybe.
Okay. It's going to be an
Try to get
opportunity
him-
for the team. So, I mean, whoever takes
Okay.
advantage of the opportunity.
Oh, for your allies. I see it.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
So let's talk about what this attack looks like. What are you going to do that's going to cause the opportunity for someone to take advantage of?
Well, he had turned his back on me, so I basically fly around in front of him, stand up to him, which I don't think would be expecting because he had already dismissed me as nothing, and then I actually managed to punch him in the face. So I think between all of that, having dismissed me, he wasn't expecting me to actually be able to affect him at all.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
so-
And I like the
yeah.
idea of Fang being able to get in there because he's got dog-like speed, so he's going to be able to get there pretty quick. So, I mean, Fang, what are you going to do next? I assume you're kind of coming in right behind, right?
Well, I can do 2 things, and I was actually going to ask a question about that. I can either jump down the fire escape, but if I do that, it'll probably take an entire turn because he is fast, but it is coming down the side of a building. Or I could just choose to jump off, but I would need a little assistance from Ed to lighten my descent, if you know what I mean. So how would I go about doing that in turn?
I'm
What
cool with
if-
comic book logic. Like, if you were to like jump between buildings to get down, like
Oh, I
off of
could do
fire
that,
escapes
too.
and stuff.
What if maybe I knock this guy back so that he's in a better position so that Fang could like pounce right on top of him without having to
Yeah.
Oh, I could do that too. All right,
whichever you want. Just
I could definitely do that. Swan dive. Arr! So I believe that's direct combat.
Yep.
Directly engage. Okay. Danger. Here we go.
and he gets a +1 for the opportunity, right? Just like I did.
Yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it.
I am rolling, but it's not clearing it out.
Yeah, that is weird. I was gonna say I thought I saw it change numbers, but
It's
I think you
putting
ended up with
circles
6
on
and 2, right?
Yeah, it's putting circles around them.
That's weird.
There we go.
Okay, let's try that again. This is what I was talking about. Dice Stream
Yeah.
Mike's funny.
it.
Ugh.
Ooh. All right, so that's a total of what now?
2 plus 1 for danger plus 1 for the advantage. So that's a 4.
4. Okay. We've got 2 in the pool. It's not going to be enough for you guys to be able to spend to try and help him out. So Fang, Fang is going to like jump down, and I'm not going to say that there's any problems with the way Fang gets down. Actually, he's going to jump down and kind of get in line, but the way that he stacks up, like Fang goes in to try and trip Diablo Verde, but Diablo kind of instead does this little sidestep to get around.
And he just keeps going.
The next panel inside the comic book, it shows these guys in kind of hoodies with baseball bats and pipes and things like that, and they're just kind of like clicking them on the side, and they all seem to be wearing these hoodies with this like shield on their chest. And then we'll go back to the team. Let's see. We haven't heard from the delinquent in a little while. What are we doing next?
Okay.
For null.
Let me see here. Been trying to check up on the moves and whatnot. Let me see here. Yeah. Are you watching closely? And basically, as he's, walking down that alley and getting and trying to just ignore us and whatnot, I'm gonna make it look like he is still walking, but he actually turned around. He's walking back towards Fang. So I'm gonna try and
redirect him back to the trip.
Yeah, so he's back in range of everybody, and so this would be, I guess, confuse them for some time is what I'm going for. Yeah. Oh wait, I might get to pick multiple. Ooh, sweet. Okay, so we're gonna give the dice roll, and I got a 10 plus 1 for freak, so that's an 11.
Perfect. So you're going to do what it says on the hit.
Yes. So I'm going to confuse them for some time. Let me see here. And do I get the opportunity, or can I give the opportunity to somebody else?
If we're giving the opportunity to your team, it's to the team. So if nobody acts upon the opportunity that you provide, you can take advantage of it.
Okay. Well, the opportunity is I'm basically bringing him right back into range. So
okay. Yeah, I like that.
Everybody can try and get like another attack on him while he's so confused.
He's gonna naturally kind of gravitate towards one of them. Who are you gonna kind of gravitate him to?
Well, Fang's right there in biting range.
All right.
So I'm imagining him playing to his namesake.
So the panel shifts over and we see Fang primed to make his move. What do you do, Fang?
Ah!
Well, it's not much of a surprise to Fang, I guess, as it is to the villain, because you have time to react to it.
I'm gonna try to bite into one of them, and if I can lock in, swing them. And throw to one into a couple of them.
Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. So that's going to be a directly engage.
Yes.
Actually, no. Let's go with unleash your powers because we're going to try and change the environment a little bit as well.
So I'd be rolling freak on that?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good to me. That would be a 9.
Okay.
So, and
sorry, I got unbelievably hot cookies out of the oven.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you get to mark a condition, which will be your choice, what you want to mark. Or the effect is unstable, temporary, or dangerous. It's your choice.
I'm going to go with probably dangerous because at this point, if he's doing hand-to-hand
Dangerous would
or
be dangerous to you guys, by the way.
or paw-to-paw combat. He's kind of semi-enraged.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. So he
He is part animal after all.
mhm. So when you hurl him, the part that makes it dangerous is you hurl him across, and he bowls into a bunch of the mini clones, which kind of fold up into their mass, and the mass hit the ground and disappear just like you expect them to. But his body keeps going further than you expected. He hits that same part of the building that he was in front of before, and it comes crashing down. You can hear people screaming and running through the streets right now. You guys are 2 for 2 for destroying buildings during combat.
Oh yeah. The
The,
mayor is gonna love us.
The debris has kind of changed the environment and made it a little bit more dangerous and hard for you guys to maneuver through. And as the building falls, you see this legion of hoodied, like teenagers with baseball bats, crowbars, and bottles and things like that. Anything they can get their hands on that are walking towards you guys, and they all have that shield crest on them. It's just then when it occurs to you that this is the group of super cults that were following around Megalith. They're back. Verde looks over to them and he starts smiling and he says, "My adoring public." And you're going to notice as he says that there are some of them inside the crowd that have like iPads and cell phones that are watching something, which logically has to be his video feed because he's got those orbiting cameras around him. He turns to address them and he says, "Ed Jones has been deemed worthy. I will take his mask next. I will do it in the name of justice for what his people have done to us in the past, for what the Victory Squad stands for." And he turns around. "Ed Jones, I challenge you. If you lose, I will take your mask and you will leave this city in shame."
Can I possibly just do something?
"Very well, you've accepted." He starts flexing again. He goes, "Green Blaster!" And he shoots a beam at you. It's going to do one condition, which I'll let you kind of pick out and say how that affects you. By the way, so the good news is when you guys fail, you are marking experience. For Bastion, it's been 4 times now. You're about to level up. For Fang, it's been twice. And then Null has 1 as well.
I guess we'll go with guilty.
Guilty? Okay.
Yeah.
And what's he doing that makes you feel guilty about that? Like the way that he's confronting you or what he's saying?
Because like an idiot, I allowed him to monologue.
That's one of the bad guys' moves. Taunt and lure.
I just kind of feel stupid because I actually allowed him to monologue. I made the biggest mistake ever.
Okay. So he blasts you in the chest. You take that little bit of damage there. It kind of knocks you back a couple feet, but you kind of dig in with your gravity power to keep you standing to, stand a little bit more defiantly against him. What does Ed do in response to that?
Ed just kind of looks at him. He's going to say, the gravity on planets like Jupiter is 10 times Earth's normal. Have you ever felt that? And at that point, he's going to stretch out his hand. I'm basically going to drop a gravity well on this guy that is 100 times times Earth's normal gravity. I am trying to break his legs.
He starts to respond with some snarky comment like, "No gravity is greater than El Diablo Verde," and then you unleash power on him as he like. You unleash your power as he mouths off there.
Okay, and let's go ahead and make the roll. And I'm spending a burn to make it overcharge because I still have that.
Okay.
I think.
You do.
That is 9. 6 plus 3 plus 2 for freak would be 11.
Okay. So with a 9, you can definitely affect the environment, but it's going to come at a cost. You can do the mark condition. It's unstable, temporary, or dangerous. Your choice.
Is that a 9 or an 11? You rolled an 11.
And
oh, I'm sorry. 11 was your
10
total.
Plus, 10 plus on unleash your power.
10 plus. Got it. So in that case, you just do it.
So I basically making this. Okay, good.
You hear the bones crunch, and he hits it like he instantly starts shrinking down. And he's like struggling to talk because the gravity is so intense that it's making it hard for him. And he's like, "No gravity shall defeat me." You can hear his bones trying to knit together underneath all that gravity.
Like actually trying to knit back together. That's
yeah,
good.
like he's definitely got regeneration. The problem is the gravity is so high on him right now that you're essentially re-breaking them as they're knitting together.
So,
yeah, I think this is a good time for you to interject there.
Yeah, I like notice a regen effect. I'm like, You're gonna break under the weight of your ego, like I originally said. And that is a total of a 10 on
Unleashed and
powers. Yes, and I want his regeneration to go bye-bye.
Perfect. You do, and you hear like his thighs like start cracking, buckling, and he's just hitting the pavement, and he's not moving. The horde of cultists are just kind of standing back because this is not what they expected either.
I'm gonna throw up an illusion, another one of those neon signs, and just say ego damage. You know, big letters.
Just as like a side effect.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah. Okay. And then for the leader, you have a moment, Bastion, kind of seeing your team come together and only destroy one building. That was pretty cool. What does Bastion do next?
It was a smaller building than last time. That's an improvement. I'll go over. So the Verde is out. Is that correct?
Yeah. All the residents of the Devil's Kitchen is out. Are out.
Verde is done. He's unconscious or no?
No, he's still up. He's trying to fight hard, except for his regen powers are actually being nullified right now. So you can tell that he's getting close to being done. This would be your opportunity, be the hero, step forward, and be like, admit defeat if you want to.
I will indeed. I'll fly over to him and I'll get right in his face and I'll say, we do not wish to cause you more harm than necessary. Yield yourself. Be taken into custody.
Okay. What I'm going to say is that you're trying to provoke him now.
Yep.
So that's going to be roll plus superior.
That is +1. That would be a 10.
A 10, perfect. So on a 10, they rise to the bait and do what you want, and you want him to surrender at this point. He says, "I can never surrender. I can only lose my mask in combat.
I was going to take that.
You are honorable warriors, and I will admit defeat, but you must take my mask.
Very well. I go around back and commence unstringing his mask.
Okay. So yeah, you've got super strength, so you could just rip the strings right off in one go and then pull the mask off. Once the mask comes off, you see him start to kind of revert to his true form. He looks like he's an accountant. He's wearing a business suit. He's got like shattered glasses. His legs are broken now. The green outfit that he was wearing, once you rip the mask off, it disappeared from him. The mask itself is a simple white mask once it's off. And it doesn't look like it has the devil horns or anything like that on it.
Witchery. Perhaps Cirrus will help us when he is recovered. He can figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, after a little bit, Cygnus kind of gets up and he walks over and he says, "This is no witchcraft." He starts looking it over and he kind of folds out the mask inside out, and the hood has a bunch of circuitry inside of it and some stimulant drugs and things like that. A sign that something far more foul is at play inside Halcyon City. It's something like this that could allow them to emulate the powers of a villain of the past is in your city is troubling indeed.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm actually going to do another provoke that I'm going to do on the crowd, and I'll say...
The crowd pretty much dissipated as soon as you got victory. They seem dissatisfied with their new champion that they've selected.
I still want him to provoke absolutely nothing.
I was going to say, there are some stragglers. I was going to say, there are some stragglers that are dedicated, and they're all wearing, like, homemade lucha masks. If you want to provoke those guys into going away, you can.
Well, no. Actually, I was going to provoke, but it may not make sense. Are there emergency or EMS folks?
Yeah, there are.
They're there? Okay, so I was going to provoke somebody.
And as heroes of the day, I'd say that you'd have a +1 if you decide you want to provoke them to do something. Or you have.
I was just going to have them call them, but they're probably here already, so no big deal. I was rethinking, and I probably see ambulances and such in the vicinity, so we don't need to.
Yeah, there's definitely ambulances and such. Once you clear the illusion to check on Captain Justice, because he's been invisible this whole time, you'll find that the blow that he was dealt shattered his neck. He is alive, but he's in a wheelchair, and his powers are not going to be enough to keep him up. You guys, in the next frame, it shows you guys visiting him in the hospital, and despite all of his powers and strength, he can still fly, but when he's on the ground, he's got to deal with a wheelchair, and he's retiring as the leader. Queen of the Night has stepped into the role, and she's kind of leading you on your first sets of missions. A few more panels show you guys taking out some small-time criminals, and there's something else after that. Another panel, it shows two shadowy figures with more sets of white, bland costume pieces, sets of gloves, belts, boots. It looks like it was part of a full set. The only thing that's missing is the hood, which you guys took. It is now on display inside the Victory Squad headquarters as your first trophy. That's pretty much it for this one shot. I just wanted something short, sweet, and fun so that we could try the system out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Getting used to Apocalypse World is a little bit different, so I thought that this wasn't bad actually for kind of our first playthrough. If you guys enjoy it, I may do some more in the future, and anybody that's tuned in to watch, if you do happen to meet the schedule, be sure to check those out on the Tabletop RPG One-Shot group on Facebook. We're all part of that, and I believe most everybody here runs games occasionally, at least. All right, let's go ahead and do some outros. You guys know me. You're on my channel, Drop Dice. So let's go ahead and move it over down the line. We're going to do it backwards this time. Let's start with Ken.
Did you say me? You broke
Yep.
up there. Okay. Again, Wayward Son on YouTube. Ken Sheffield in the One Shot group. I try to post my links there, so if you want to find me, that's probably the easiest way.
It's also in the description of this
thanks
video.
Thank you. Other than that, thanks for the game. I'm still, frankly, I'm still a little fuzzy on exactly how somebody is taken out in combat, kinda. But
So how it was working,
just come with experience.
I was going to say, so how it was working for you guys, if you want to try out this system, is when you attacked him, you were doing conditions to him, and you've knocked off all of his conditions. He had 4 separate conditions, and basically 4 successful attacks against him meant that he was going down.
Okay. All right. But yeah, it was a good time. I'll definitely give it another try.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. And next we've got Mike.
I just gotta say I definitely enjoyed it. It reminded me of certain aspects of Fate, but it's definitely unique in its own system and style. I will definitely be trying it out more often, and I think the Kickstarter is extremely worth it. So if you guys still have
if you want
time,
everything that they're doing, it's only $10. It's a really good buy for a Kickstarter.
jump in on it, especially for a $10 PDF.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go wrong. And again, Chris, thank you very much.
Hey, no problem. And Josh?
Once again, guys, this is RPG Gamer Josh. Was here once again in a drop dice game. Very, very fun. Thank you very much for running, Chris, and I had a great time.
Okay. And last, let's go ahead and have Eric.
Again, my name is Eric Betrag, and I'm the project designer of Haphazard Projects. If you want to see me pretty much anywhere online, just look up Haphazard Projects, and you can see what we're up to. As far as Supers games go, this has automatically gravitated itself to a number 2 slot, right below Cypher System for Supers. I absolutely loved it, had a lot of fun, and I will be visiting the Kickstarter page just as soon as we're done here. So definitely check this out.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys noticed that we were a little bit slower going through it, but with time, the Apocalypse mechanics start to make sense. Like every Apocalypse game, if you see a post like Dungeon World, Apocalypse World, or any of its derivatives, they all work basically the same, and once you have a basic understanding of what the basic moves are, every game uses the same basic moves. They just rephrase things a little bit to match the theming. My personal favorite is is Dungeon World, actually, but this one pulls a lot from Dungeon World while still keeping the Apocalypse frame. So I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'm not super experienced with Supers, but I think I had a lot of fun doing this game, so I think, like I said, I'm going to probably put together a few more. They may not be on air, but they'll be fun, and I'll probably see some of you guys again. For all my viewers, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the gaming table.